In compliance with the provisions of Section 305, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I hereby forward for the consideration of the Senate copies of the official gazettes of the State of Emergency Proclamation 2025. The main features of the proclamation are as follows: a declaration of a state of emergency in one state of the Federation, namely Rivers State, the suspension from office of the governor, his deputy, and all members of the State House of Assembly, and appointment of Vice Admiral Ibogaite Iba as retired as administrator to administer the state, subject to any instructions or regulations as may from time to time be issued by me. While I look forward to the expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This letter is committed to the Committee of the entire Senate for immediate consideration. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise first to move that pursuant to Order 1B of our rules, Mr. President, that we reorder the agenda on the order paper to enable us take for the first order of the day, which is my motion pursuant to the proclamation of state of emergency in Rivers State, in respect of which Mr. President just read the correspondence from Mr. President stating the proclamation. I so move, Mr. President.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion moved by the Leader of the Senate that the Senate reorders its order paper for today to take the first order of the day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we reorder the items on our order paper to take
Point of order, Mr. President.
To take the
Mr. President, there's a point of order. We need to order ourselves appropriately.
Distinguished colleagues.
Yes.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded, and it behoves on the presiding officer to put the question. And after that, anybody who wants to move a point of order can do so. But in the meantime, can I put the question? Those in support that we reorder our order papers, say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Point of order, Mr. President, so that we can be sure of our procedure. Just a point of order. It's not. It doesn't stop your. Doesn't stop the motion.
Distinguished Senator Seriake Dickson.
Yes.
I watch you on television.
Mr. President, I have
and
a point of order for which you have recognized me.
Listen to me now.
Yes.
Let's not argue. If we argue, it won't be good for any of us. We are all distinguished people. You are a former governor. I'm a former governor. Let us, please, off the mic, sit down. Please be seated. I watch you on television, and you said no matter what the Senate does, the Senate will never go with you. The Senate will not go with you. I said you said no matter what this Senate does, the Senate will not have your vote on anything the Senate does. That's what you said on television. I don't know, but I'm saying that if you have already made up your mind to go and talk on television when the Senate has not even considered any issue, I want to let you know.
To me, please.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm only saying, please allow me to preside. Allow me to preside.
Make my point.
Stand up and make a point.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please, you know, we must have mutual respect for all of our colleagues, okay? And I do have regard for you, particularly as our presiding officer.
I appreciate
And I think that should be reciprocal. Now, the point of order, Mr. President, Henry Seriake Dickson, Bayelsa West. The point of order I rose to address is to draw the attention of the presiding officer and our colleagues to the specific provisions of our rules. Each one of us is guided by two documents: the Constitution of the Federal Republic, upon which we're sworn, and the rules that govern our proceedings. The proclamation has been read to us, and I wanted to draw your attention, Mr. President, respectfully, and the attention of all our colleagues, to the specific provisions of our rules. Order 135. The framers of this are very exhaustive. Once you say state of emergency declaration, there is a procedure.
Can you read 135?
Let me read it. Say, look, 133. When the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by instrument published in the Gazette of the Government of the Federation, issues a proclamation of a state of emergency in the Federation or of any part thereof, he shall immediately after the publication, A, B, C, D. Now, since you have read it, now let me go to 135. The President shall, in a closed session, brief the Senate on the circumstances of the proclamation of a state of emergency.
Your point of order is upheld.
Thank you.
Hence, the Senate in a closed session received briefing from the President of the Senate on the circumstances of the proclamation of a state of emergency declared by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief, Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the state of affairs in Rivers State. And the Senate resolved as follows. 1. The Senate invokes the powers conferred on it by Section 305, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and approve the proclamation of state of emergency declared by Mr. President in Rivers State of Nigeria. The Senate further directs that the declaration of the state of emergency stated in the proclamation document and the mandate of Mr. President to review, and hereby mandates the President to review and even to terminate the state of emergency at any given time, but not later than 6 months. The Senate further resolved that Section 11, subsection 4 be invoked, providing the National Assembly the authority to set up a joint ad hoc committee of both chambers to oversight the administration of Rivers State henceforth. The Senate further resolves that a committee of eminent Nigerians be set up to reconcile the warring groups within the government of Rivers State within the period of the state of emergency in Rivers State. The Senate further resolved that a committee to reconcile the warring factions in Rivers State should consist of eminent Nigerians. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate hereby approves the proclamation of the state of emergency 2025 declared by Mr. President in Rivers State of Nigeria as amended pursuant to Section 60, pursuant to Section 60 of the Constitution, Section 305, subsection 2, and pursuant to our rules 1, sub B of the standing orders of the Senate, and also pursuant to rules 134, 135, and 136 of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in support of the declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it in unanimity.